The other day, I did a generalized version of how to navigate living abroad. Like if you come from your own country to start a brand new life in another country, what you should do to assimilate into that culture. So I did a generalized version of that. So in this video, I'm going to get into the specifics of some of the challenges that people who come from abroad to start a brand new life in another country face. Like I'm going to give you examples, and towards the end of the video I'm also going to give you my own example of some of the things that I face. So stick around to hear that story. The first challenge that I faced when I came from Zimbabwe to start my brand new life here in England was to do with food. I don't know about you, but if you're from Zimbabwe and you're like me, you probably have felt the same way. There are certain types of foods that I thought tasted really funny. They tasted different. They tasted like nothing I had ever tasted. And the first one is bread. The other one is chicken and beef as well. It tasted different, especially the chicken. And I found it really hard to have the meat, to have the bread. I found it hard. And even the milk. It was like most foods, quite frankly. Over time, I got used to the food. So what you can do if you're finding it hard to eat the food is that we have shops that cater to people who come from different countries. So find out where those shops are. So where I live, there is a place that you can go, and in that place there are all kinds of shops that cater to different tastes, to different palates, depending on which country you come from. They have food from most countries there, and I'm fortunate that I can go to some of the shops and buy food from my country, food that cater to my palate, that cater to my taste. So that's one thing that you can do if you've recently moved from Zimbabwe or another country to the United Kingdom. Find out where those shops are. The second challenge that I faced when I came over from Zimbabwe to the United Kingdom was to do with culture shock. Now I'm going to give you a specific example. In our culture, that is the Zimbabwean culture, when you're talking to elders or people that you respect or people who are in authority, you don't look them in the eye, especially if you've done something wrong, especially if you're being reprimanded. You don't stare them in the eye. You look down. You don't look them in the eye like that. You kind of go like this. It's a way of showing respect. That's how we respect our elders. That's how we respect people in positions of power. But over here in the United Kingdom, the opposite is true. If you don't look someone in the eye, especially when they're talking to you, it's seen as you being rude. And if they are reprimanding you or they are giving you instructions, you have to look them in the eye. It's a mark of respect. It shows that you are acknowledging what they are saying and that you are paying attention. But as I said, in Zimbabwe, it's exactly the opposite. So these are some of the things that you learn over time. So that's why I said in the other video, you need to take time to find out about the culture of that country. It is important because there's bound to be some misunderstandings. And the other thing that you can do, if there is a misunderstanding like that, then it's worth explaining, it's worth communicating. And the other thing that I found as well, people may not always tell you how they feel or what they think about your behavior. I'm talking about looking down. They may not really express what they think at the time, but they may conclude that you're being rude, and they may go thinking, oh, she's so rude, she does this and that. But in actual fact, you're not being rude. You're showing respect because that's what you know. That's your culture. So this is why I say that it is important to establish that communication. When you take the time to find out about other people's cultures, when you take the time to ask questions, they will also ask you questions in return. So during that interaction, you will be able to bridge that gap, and that's how you develop an appreciation and an understanding of one another. So that's one thing that you can do. There are many examples that I can highlight in this video, but I just wanted to give that one example because it is a common thing that I come across. So bear in mind, if you're coming from Zimbabwe and you have to talk to someone, just bear in mind. So that's the second challenge. If you've made it this far and you're still watching, then don't forget to like this video, please, because it helps with the algorithm. Now, the last challenge that I want to highlight in this video is to do with you establishing yourself. And that includes visa applications, finding a job, and so forth. So in my case, there was one application that I made to the Home Office before I became a student nurse. So I had attended my interview and offered a place to start at a university here in the United Kingdom. So they gave me all the paperwork that I needed to submit to the Home Office. So I don't know what happened, but during my application, I made an error. And the error was I forgot to include a document that was important, that was needed by the Home Office. I had the document, but when I posted my documents, I forgot to include the document. So as the Home Office processed my application, they couldn't find the evidence that I needed to support my application. So it actually caused the Home Office to reject my application. And I got a letter through the post telling me that I had 12 days to leave the country. So you can imagine what I went through. I mean, they gave me 12 flipping days. I mean, what do you do if you're given 12 days? What do you do with 12 days? So, anyway, I got over that and I said to myself, you know what? It's time for me to put my big girl pants on and do something about it. It was obviously an error, an honest mistake, a genuine mistake that needed to be corrected. But at the time, because I was still quite new, I was still finding my way, I was still trying to navigate. I didn't know how to go about things. But anyway, as I always say, when the situation calls for it, there is something that happens. You just develop that courage and that wisdom. It just came out of nowhere. And I say to myself, you know what? I need to do something about it. Yes, they've given me 12 days, but 12 days is plenty of time to sort these things out. So thank God for the internet. I went on the internet, I Googled some stuff, how to's, and I got the information that I needed. And I contacted a lawyer to help me, and I went into the office of that lawyer and I explained what had happened. I made them see exactly where I had made the mistake. So what that means is I had to submit an appeal. So if your visa is rejected, you can appeal. Don't think that you've run out of options, that's it, it's over. No, you can appeal that decision. Obviously, you have to seek advice from the experts, from people who know what they're doing. But as you know, they need to be paid. So that was another challenge, finding the money. But because I didn't have the money, I went to the bank and asked for a personal loan. So that's what I did. So these are some of the things that you can do if you find yourself in that situation. You need to find out some information. I'm not a lawyer and I don't know your situation, but I'm telling you my story. This is what I did. I went on Google. I Googled how to, whatever challenge that you're facing, whatever situation that you find yourself in. For me, that's always like the first thing that I do because Google has got everything. But obviously, you need to take things a step further. So after I Googled, I found out that, okay, with situations like that, when your visa is rejected, you need to seek advice from a lawyer, somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's what I did. And another thing as well that you can do if you find yourself in a visa predicament is to seek help from your local MP. I have done this as well when I wanted my family to come over here to the United Kingdom. I sought the help of my local MP. I don't know if you can still do that. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you what I did, the things that have helped me in the past. I have sought help from my local MP in the past. Because if you're genuine, if your case is genuine, if your case is clear and you've got evidence of what you're saying, they can advocate on your behalf, depending on your situation. I don't know what your situation is. This is what I did. I've done this in the past and it has worked for me. So this is my story. These are the things that I had for you in this video. As always, I hope you found them useful. If you want more content like this and haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. Also, again, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and share. I'll be forever grateful. Take care.